now in session. The Honorable James A. Edwards, Chief Judge, presiding. All persons having business before the court are here. Your attention will be heard. May God save the United States of America, state of Florida, and the sovereign Lord.
All right, and we've had a panel change. We've had Judge Saud substitute in now for Judge Boatwright. And we'll call the sanctions hearing involving Sharon Wells. So if you'll please come to the podium. And I will turn things over to Judge McIver once we are ready to proceed. Judge McIver.
Good morning, Ms. Wells. First off, let me just give a little preamble here in that we as a court are in no way, shape, or form looking to go on a crusade to string you up for the events of this case, nor even to make an example out of you for what we see. Let me describe briefly, though, kind of an overarching problem that we're dealing with, which is our problem, and maybe you can help us with it. I don't even want to go so far as to say disrespect for the courts, although that is perhaps an issue that is growing. But what we are seeing is maybe a casual disregard, a casual inattentiveness, or even just indifference to what the court is saying. In other words, the ordinary course of business becomes, I know they said it's due on this day, but they're going to grant me the extension anyways. And that's something we kind of have to clip. But again, we don't want to use you to make an example for the entire system to remedy that problem. But there were a few things in the pendency of this case which gave us a little bit of pause. Now, you're only here to show cause on the last order that was to let us know what's going on in the office to remedy the situation, which was not responded to. But prior to that, just a couple things that are illustrative of what we're worried about. The requests, the 3 requests in this case for extensions of time, they all came in after the due date. They were all late. The answer was already late by the time an extension was being requested. Let me also say that I understand the difficulties and the volume of your job, and we're not here to needle at you about that either. In fact, thank you for the work you do and for the public service aspect of it. We appreciate that. 2, in your response to the earlier order to show cause for the late answer brief, and I understand it's normal form to also file the motion to accept the late answer brief, but the fact that you mentioned you didn't do that because you thought it was on time kind of overlooked the fact that the very last extension we gave expressly said there will be no more extensions, and if it's not filed by this date, we may move forward without an answer brief. Another thing that kind of gave us a little bit of pause in that same response in paragraph 5, and this isn't getting at you, again, this is getting kind of at the overarching problem, and hopefully you can shed some light on it for us. But the beginning of paragraph 5 of your response said that you were responding to several orders to show cause and et cetera, per month. The idea that there are multiple orders to show cause that you're dealing with on that sort of irregularity is something that, that's red flags for us. And then lastly, of course, you were ordered to inform this court of steps being taken in the office, and that order went completely unanswered. So again, we're hoping, we have absolutely no desire here to go forward with issuing sanctions. We're here hopeful that you can respond and kind of help us with the issues that we have. With that, the floor is yours.
Let me respond to the last part about the order about telling the court about the office procedures. I'm so sorry that happened. I'm sorry all of this happened. I hate that it happened. That last order, I was concerned about the affirmance and my motion to accept once I realized that it was late And I just didn't see it, and my assistant didn't see it. I would never disregard a court order. You know, I get a lot of things coming in, but court orders are the most important, especially when we've been authorized to do, or required to do something. The orders to show cause, the other show cause, let me say, until about a couple years ago, the Florida Department of Corrections habeas sentencing structure game time cases had been handled in-house for decades. It went over to the Attorney General's office, and I'm the only one handling them throughout the state of Florida, in the circuit courts, in the appellate courts, and the federal courts. And, you know, they all, of course, have their different procedures, and the show cause orders I have to respond to are in a circuit court, you know, show cause to an extraordinary petition, habeas. So we're trying to get somebody else up to speed on this area of law, but it's a sort of a sub specialty, and that's been difficult. The other difficult thing we've had is, at one point, not long ago, we lost all of our assistants and paralegals. And we've hired a new crew in, but it takes a while to get them up and running. And my particular work I do has never been done there before. It has its own unique things, and it requires some specialized training. So after this, we have devoted a senior legal assistant to look over every single game time, sentence structure, court order, anything that might be due, and have a double system for making sure everything gets reviewed and calendared. I do have a lot of cases. I try very hard to get to everything as soon as I can. Things come up that require my December. I had a federal evidentiary hearing. I've never had one of those before. That took a considerable amount of my time, and I'm just very sorry this happened.
Can I ask you a question on that paragraph 5 where it says you have to respond to show cause order? Does that show cause why sanctions shouldn't be imposed, or show cause why the relief shouldn't be granted?
Correct.
The latter?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
all right.
not sure I knew that I had that many sanctions pending, but yes, they're initial show cause orders on a habeas.
Okay.
Or cert in a DCA.
And I guess what steps have been taken to make sure that orders don't go ignored?
Again, I can speak to the work that I do.
That's
Yes.
what we've asked you
And I'm
to
the
do.
only one doing them, and we have devoted a senior legal assistant to make sure all of those orders, everything that comes in is double-checked and calendared and reviewed carefully. We have new software in the office that's coming in that hopefully will help that too in terms of calendaring. Our system we currently have has been around a very long time. Hopefully that will make things easier.
Do you actually see the orders that come in your cases?
They come into my email, and I do review them. You know, ideally it's a double system. As I said, I was unfortunately looking for the affirmance and the acceptance of my motion, and I just didn't, you know, there's not usually anything left to do after the affirmance. I just didn't see it, and I'm sorry for that.
Judge Sal?
I have nothing further.
All right, thank you very much. We'll take this under consideration, and we'll be in recess.
Thank
Drive
you.
safely.